Hey guys, welcome to our first happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. Really excited to get things going here. This is going to be a weekly show that we're going to be having here, talking about all things Canal Zone. We're going to reminisce about Rams, about growing up in the zone, just all kinds of different stories. This is a show for you guys for the Canal Zone. So you guys, please send in suggestions. You can see some information bottom of the screen there on our Facebook channel. You can join us on YouTube. And if you're logged in now, you can go ahead and join us in the chat, send your comments, your hellos and whatnot. But again, every week we want to meet on Friday nights. It's happy hour at the Yacht Club. Cheers. Salute, everybody. And again, let's just go ahead and start remembering the Canal Zone. It's an awesome place to grow up. We have some great memories, a wonderful life that we all had down there. So let's not let those memories fade away. So anyhow, getting started, one of the things that I want to talk about, something important here before we move on. We had the good fortune of growing up in the Canal Zone, whether we were born down there or whether we moved down there later on. But, the Canal Zone is a really, really special place to a lot of us. The memories that we have from there, the things that we experienced down there, it's like nothing else that anybody else could have lived. We were really, really lucky to have that. And, as time goes on, the Canal Zone, it's something that's in our past, but we want to maintain that memory. We want to maintain that legacy and keep that story going. So one of the things that we want to start doing more of, because it's starting to really impact us, is get involved at the Canal Zone, right? Get involved with the society, get involved with the reunions. We just had a reunion down in Panama this past January. We're going to talk about that here in just a bit. But there's also the annual reunion in July that we want to make sure that people are showing up and helping to keep things going there. The society does a wonderful job putting those reunions on, but they're not cheap, right? And so they need help, volunteer help, of course, but membership. Make sure you guys are signing up, joining the membership, and stay involved with the society. Let's keep this legacy going as long as we possibly can, and that's probably one of the best ways to do it, is to stay involved with the society and help them out, help yourselves out, and help us all keep that story going, right? So, but anyway, let's start talking about some Canal Zone memories, some things that we grew up with. We just had a Super Bowl recently. Didn't really care for either one of those teams, in all honesty, but football's on the mind. So let's talk football here and talk about some Balboa Rams football events to hang on.
1st and 10 Rams moving from their own 42. Both backs coming out of the backfield again. Rensel. Big stop for the Rams. Touchdown, Rams. And we do have it.
All right, guys. So little Balboa Rams action there. Some audio there. Obviously, that wasn't our audio, but it certainly was really cool. So I've got two special guests, two people that are special in my life, not just for being Zonians, but for growing up with them in a lot of different ways. I've got Ricky Royo joining us from San Francisco, and a very special guest joining us from Panama, Coach Cotton, who a lot of us were influenced by to play for the Rams and whatnot. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Part of what I wanted to do to bring back these memories and to start talking about this stuff revolved around the Rams. When I saw the Rams page on Facebook and whatnot, that kind of started giving me the idea, the wheels turning to one day let's do something and talk some Rams football. And so here we are. First chance we get to talk to you guys in the zone, talk to people live. And again, guys, if you're on one of the Facebook pages or on YouTube, go ahead and log in and throw your comments in there. We can throw them on the screen and say hello to Coach Cotton and Ricky Royo. And again, guys, welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys.
Hey, thanks, Willie. Thanks. Good to be here, actually. Friday, weather's kind of cold out here, raining. But I'm ready for some Canal Zone.
Right on. And Coach Cotton's with us. He's from Panama, so we have a little connection issues here and there. So he may cut in and out. We know how that is going overseas. Technology is pretty awesome right now, but it's not perfect yet, right? So we'll do the best we can. But in the meantime, Ricky, good to see you again. Good to chat with you. Rams football. You played before I did, a couple years before I did. When did you start? What was your first year in Rams?
I started in '74 and that was the year before was truly the year where all the 9 and 10 and of course 11-year-olds can try out, but it was mostly the 9 and 10-year-olds that had an opportunity to start playing. From my recollection, Coach might have a different one, but I think in '73 is when we had the 3 leagues. Back then it was called Pee-wees, lightweights, and heavyweights, and then they changed to lightweights, middleweights, and heavyweights. So I played the second year of when I think then that's when it started. It could have started in '71. I don't know, Coach, if there was a Pee-wees in '71 or not. But I started '73 the following year when I was 10 years old. I mean, '74 the following year when I was 11 years old was my first year. And our coach back then was Coach Dare. And we practiced at the Diablo, behind the Diablo school that had the locker rooms, which is also where Bulldogs, the year I played, practiced as well. But what I remember was those times, Coach, those were the times where lightweights, middleweights, and heavyweights, we all ran the same exact plays throughout the 3 divisions.
Yeah.
And I believe that was like perfect, because by the time we got to heavyweights, we knew the plays inside out.
Yep.
Yeah, so Coach, when did you get started with the Rams? I think, did you say '69? I think if I recall from when we talked a little bit last year. There you go. Okay, you're back now.
Coached up until 1981.
Okay. Yeah, we missed the first part there. So you coached till '81. When did you get started again?
1969.
Okay. '69. Wow, right on.
How many divisions were back then? Just heavyweights and lightweights, or just
3?
one?
No, it was.
Yeah, your audio's kicked off again, Coach. I think you said 3, that there was 3 divisions. And so I think you might say there was Pee-wee and lightweight and heavyweight, and then I guess it changed to lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight.
Yeah. But I remember there was a time there was only like one division, and then it went to 2. I remember that. But I mean, that was like.
Well, and Coach, remember last year we had Guy Nakio on from the Kiwanis, and he knew a lot about, because he went to Balboa High School actually, and he knew a lot about that history as well. And he mentioned that the Little League was like a JV, for the high school to get some of those people playing time, and that's where the Little League got started. Coach, is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My brother-in-law, Fred Bales, was the coach of. First, he was at Corunna.
Yeah, your audio keeps cutting out on you, Coach. Yeah, we'll try and pick it up where we can, but yeah, that's what. And I've got some of that still archived. I'll share that maybe one of the other shows on a video, we can share it. But I do know that was one of the things they had set up, was for that to give some of the guys that weren't getting playing time, like almost like a JV squad, and it evolved into its own big league, and kind of to your point, Ricky, when we were talking the other night, where back at that time in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot more people in the zone. Certainly when we played, the treaty was starting to take effect and people were starting to leave, so you were starting to get diminishing numbers. But prior to that, you probably didn't have a whole lot of difficulty filling up squads, I would imagine.
No, you know what? I grew up in with you in El Prado, and if you remember, the big kids were Robert Wood, Sandy Terry, Michael Little, and those guys all played JV. Those guys all played for Corundu Black or Corundu Gold because they were too big to play for the Rams.
Okay.
That's the way I remember it, but I don't know. Could be different.
Now, Coach, was there always the weight limits? Because that was always something, it's funny. My brother and I, we're two opposite builds. My brother was always bigger, and he, I think he only had 1 year of lightweights because he had to move up to heavyweights. And heck, I could have played probably till I was 20 on Little League because I didn't weigh anything. But
when Ray Mastenson played,
Yeah,
I think that was.
They were weight limit. 1960, 1970.
Okay. Interesting. 1970. And again, that was. So when did that JV thing go away and it became just Little League football, where it was completely not to do?
I was around then. I think it was after the 75 season.
Okay.
Because then the 76 season, or it could be the 74, 75 season, but there was one season where all those JV guys went to Rams, and that was Paul Williams' age group, which is 2 years ahead of me. And then they all went to Rams, and they had, the Little League was a phenomenal. All the teams were really good. And that's when the K-Land coach came down to Panama to play us, and then they beat them like 70-0. It was ridiculous. I have a picture of that team. So I think it was. Let me see. My last year was 78, so that was the 76 season.
Okay.
Where we started school in 75, but graduated in 76.
Right.
So it was the 76 season. That was that first year that all the JV guys went to Little League football. So it was the year before that it was the last year of JV. By the time I got to Corundu, there was no more JV. So it was so it was like when I was in 6th grade, which was in, who knows? How old are you in 6th grade? 6 times 5, 11, right? So 74.
Yep.
74 was the last year of, having JV.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Cristobal Balboa, 10th graders, and then 2 Corundu teams.
Now, the other thing that I always wonder about, on the Atlantic side, you had the Cristobal Tigers, and then what about the Fort Davis Raiders? What was the story there? I mean, were they with the same team? Did it evolve in one? How did that work, Coach? Because I think my first year we played the Fort Davis Raiders.
No, there was only Chris.
Okay. I could have sworn
I don't think the Raiders came around until. No.
And they were
the Raiders came after 81.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I just remember that name. It was familiar, but and then people would say, no, the Tigers were high school and the Raiders were Little League. But I remember distinctly playing. In fact, when we were on lightweights, that heavyweight team that Cristobal had was just a monster of a team. I remember one game, Lewis Payne was running back, and he ran a ball up the middle, and the guy hit him. And next, he came off the field. They had to unscrew his cage to take the helmet off because he smashed the cage in. They were good for a couple had a monster team, and like in 81, 82 somewhere, that heavyweight Cristobal Tiger team was just a beast of a team, man.
Yeah. My heavyweight year, they won. They were the champions. They were really good that year too.
Yeah, so that's when they were that carrier. That was when wasn't Coach Palumbo? Was he there, Coach?
No, it was like Downey.
That's who it was. Yes. We'll get some Atlantic siders on here and get some of that, talk in there as well. But yeah, that was interesting. Okay. And now, Coach, you started in 69. Now you joined. You were obviously at that point. Were you already with the Canal Zone Police, and so you guys were coaching Rams. What got you involved with the Rams? Because I know obviously you had your Atlantic side ties, but you were living in the Pacific side, I would assume.
Yeah, I lived in Balboa when I started. I met Jerry Dare at the post office in Balboa, and he asked me to come down and give him a hand.
Okay.
I was getting into. So I went down to the apprentice school, and that's where I got started.
Okay. Now he was the head coach of the lightweight team, and you joined on his staff, or how did that work?
Yeah. Jerry was head coach for all of it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
He coached all three.
All three divisions.
Wow. Interesting.
And then, yeah.
So at what point did you end up with head coach on the lightweight team?
Oh.
Have you already cut
Well,
out?
I can tell a little bit. There he's back.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Coach,
then,
we're talking about Jerry Dare.
But I'm sorry?
We were
go
talking
ahead.
about Jerry Dare, Coach Dare.
So now, when you started, this is a Ralph. Nope, I retired from burping, Ralph. That's why I got acid reflux now, man. That's what I told my doctor. He's like, "Me, you got this acid reflux." I said, "Yeah, man. I used to burp for a living as a kid." So, but so now, okay. So when they broke it up or they got rid of middleweights, it was just lightweights and heavyweights. Is that when you took over the lightweights, or was it prior to that, or after that?
Yeah. No, it was right around that time.
Okay. Gotcha. And then Coach Gayer took over the heavyweights.
Yeah.
Well, there was one guy before him, Coach Tuttle, if you remember.
So
Okay. And he coached the Rams to a
Tuttle
championship.
came after Jerry Dare left.
Correct. Jerry Dare left, Tuttle,
Yeah.
and then Gare. Yeah, and Tuttle came over from Howard. And he brought all the studs from that team to the Rams. And they crushed it that year. Pasamonte was on the middleweight team. They also crushed it that year.
Well, that year that Tuttle won the championship, he came down and coached the lightweights.
That's right.
Came down and put me on the sideline, and he coached lightweight, and that's the only game we lost.
Wow!
I was on the lightweight team.
That was the only game we lost.
Lightweight team that year. We got some pictures of that year.
Interesting.
But that year, all three divisions won. Like that year, we had three. All three were champions that year. The year Tuttle coached.
Now, when did the Kiwanis join Little League?
72. No, 73.
Okay.
73. The year before I started.
Okay. And they didn't have initial success, right? It took a couple years for them to.
But not that long. Yeah, it took them like 2-3 years, and then they got good quick.
Yeah.
They figured out that speed was the way to
they
win.
did.
Yeah, because by the time I got to lightweights, the year that I was, 12, they were good already.
Right.
So that was just 2 years later.
Okay. Well, and you think about it, I mean, they had an entire city to pick from.
All the La Salle boys, Javier boys, Yeah, they always had great football teams. I mean, it was just the first 2 years while they were getting it together, and then they just got really good because
And
all the roots. There was a family of quarterbacks.
yes.
One was like heavyweight, one was middleweight, one was like, and they were all very good.
Yeah, Johnny played when I was there. That was
Yeah.
when he was.
Yeah.
In fact, funny story. We had, and I believe it may have even been the Shrine Bowl game. One Shrine Bowl game, we ran a play, and I think myself and Renee Richards were the tailbacks, and
Oh,
and
he
I
was
was on
good.
the left,
Renee
he was on
Richards.
the right, and we ran. I want to say. Anyway, we were running to the left side, and I was lead blocking, and we hit the hole, fumble the ball, and Johnny Rooks was playing defensive end. He picked the ball, or he was playing maybe corner or whatever. But anyway, he happened to be right there. He scoops the ball up, and I was a yard away from tackling him. And Renee grabbed me to get leverage to run and pulled me off. And, of course, we both tripped, and Johnny just took off, gone, touchdown. Yeah. I was like, oh, man, I have him. He was right there in my grasp, man. All of a sudden, I get pulled down, and off he went, man.
And in those games, the stadiums were packed. So you can only imagine the noise during that play. Because whenever we played Panama, boy, everybody brought their best.
Yeah,
Back then, we used to leave our souls on the field.
For sure. I remember because, we'd get there in the afternoon and do our walkthrough. We're sitting up in the stands talking about things, and it was a really cool feeling. It was all part of the whole.
It was
the environment
to it.
Yeah, the big games coming up.
Pageantry.
Yes, exactly. And just the intensity, the butterflies and all that, and what's coming. And then we go into the locker room and we sitting there and we're talking about things, getting geared up, putting everything on. And the stadium was empty when we went in there. And then next, you come out and it's like, Jesus Christ, look at all these people, man. And by then, the lights are on as well. And it was, you're getting close to game time, man. It was, nothing can describe that feeling. You have to live it. You have to experience it. And it honestly, it wasn't the same as getting off a bus in Clayton. It wasn't the same. Even the trip to Cristobal, that was a fun trip. The train ride, everything, that was a lot of fun. But the Kiwanis games in Balboa Stadium, because even in Albrook, that was their home field when we played, it just, the Balboa Stadium atmosphere, man, that was, for us, that
was Friday night football for us.
Yeah, man, that was, everything about that was just an awesome feeling, And yeah, look at what Rick Rivera puts here. Remember this, Coach? Remember this that was on the board out there? Or you put it on the wall in the locker room on a marker.
Yep, right above the doorway.
Yeah, attitude and desire equals champions.
There was a wall.
Yes,
there was a wall as you came in. There was a wall so that people outside couldn't look in.
Correct.
It was probably 4 feet long, and I wrote it across the top. Attitude plus desire, champion.
Yeah, and we all looked at that, and we got ourselves psyched up, man. Don't kid yourselves. 11, 12 years old, you're getting psyched up just like the Chiefs, just like the 49ers, man. That was our Super Bowl, those games, man. And if it was in a Shrine Bowl, forget about it. Then it was big time, because that's something that, I as a corporate trainer, I onboard on a lot of new people, right? And sometimes for new hires, you do icebreakers and different things and stories and whatnot. And that's one thing I like to say, that, I played a football game, an international championship, because really that's what it was. It was an American team against a Panamanian team, and the president of that country was there watching that game. And none of that's a lie. It really is what we did.
Yeah, they brought out the flags, remember?
Yeah,
national anthems. The Shriners would be there with their little parade and the motorcycles and the wheelies.
Yeah.
And it was pageantry. And then the music was always the Michigan fighting song. Dun, 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 dun. And then, of course, Mr. Reinhardt up on the microphone. Beef, yeah.
Do you see what's on the bottom of the?
I do, and I just remember, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I do remember handing that steak around. and passing it around, and that was some raw meat, man. Yeah, look at you, Tim. Well done. That's awesome. Yeah, that was. Listen, man, there was nothing like a Kiwanis Colts Balboa Rams game, and every one of those games meant something, man. You
Well,
left
the
it all out.
Cristobal games were also
No.
good. Don't leave
They
out those
were,
Cristobal games.
but Kiwanis in Panama, it was us against them. You know, it was our country and their country. You know, and
yeah, but Cristobal would bring it too, and they would bring all their fans as well.
yeah,
Those
it's
are always
interesting.
good games.
That was probably the biggest in Canal Zone rivalry, right? Because those are the two big towns, Cristobal and they were the two civilian towns because all the other teams were military teams.
Yeah.
You know, so you know where you might play somebody your first year on lightweights and against Cristobal, you'll play them all the way through your last heavyweight game.
Through high school.
Right. But
The same
not
guys you
necessarily
play
with the
against your
military
whole life.
ones. Because some of those guys, you know, their parents did the one, you know, a couple years in and they were out, you know, so it was always different people. Whereas the Cristobal team, the Kiwanis teams, and to your point, the Cristobal ones, yeah, you played them all the way through high school as well, man.
Yeah,
You've been lined up in front of somebody for 8 years, man. You might as well be in the pros.
Yeah, for me it was Rory Egger, man. I've been competing against Rory Egger since I was 6.
I love it.
And Paul Overstreet, I remember him too, and Johnny Pierce. Good football players over there.
Yeah.
This running back with the last name of Romney. God, that guy was so fast. I don't remember all the other guys, but yeah, they always had good ball players.
Yeah. No, that was a big area there. And that really always was a fun trip. And it was funny the other night we were chatting a little bit about that. And you know, one of the memories I have first time going to Cristobal on the train, and that in itself was nerve-wracking, you know, just with all those, you know, as a coach nowadays, I can't imagine having that many kids that I'm responsible for sitting in front of a train, you know, when this big giant locomotive.
Wait. We were just raised differently. Look, when we were raised, batteries didn't say, don't drink the liquid, hazardous.
Right,
you know,
right.
They didn't have to put that in our batteries when we were growing up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, no, and coaches ran a tight ship. So
yeah. There was no problem. Nobody got out of hand. Plus, we had good team leaders.
Yeah.
You know, the team captains kept everything in you know.
Yep.
It was well organized.
So I remember getting on that train that first time and going over there, and when we pull in, you pull into Mount Hope, and you're like, "What the hell is this, man?" Because you know, no disrespect, Mount Hope, but damn. What a little lousy little train station that was, man. You're like, where the hell are we? And I hear I'm 11 years old. I have no idea where I'm at, but I got off the train and wow, that's it. Here we are. Okay. And
you're right. It was just a platform.
Yeah.
Mount Hope.
It was very tiny, you know. But that was good times, man. You know, that whole Balboa train station, you know, we remember the Oyers that they're what's his name? Melvin Oyer. I think it's either his dad or his father-in-law ran the concession there at the train station. And so we'd hang out there for a little bit, you know, and all of a sudden it's 4:00.
Oh yeah, what was the gum they had there? Ositos or something like that?
That and Pepito.
Pepito. That was it.
Yes.
Yeah, go there and get that candy.
And then, Coach, do you remember this? We were practicing out there on the field one time, and you had us all of a sudden all line up because there was somebody from Kiwanis scouting, and they were in the train station.
Oh,
and we all lined up and
every
turned
year
around and waved at them. I was like, yeah, we're on to you, man.
No, that was every year. The year I played, same thing. We had to line up all the guys, you know, all the second, third stringers against the train station, and then we would run our plays.
They were scouting for sure.
Hey, I coached with Coach Con. I don't know if you remember, Coach. I mean, it was you were lightweights with O'Connor, right? Or you were already heavyweights. But you guys would send me to the Panama practice to go scout them and find out who the Speedy Gonzalez's were.
There were some good teams then, man. They're very competitive games in those teams, man.
Yeah, that's the year Ricky Rivera was on the lightweights playing middle linebacker. And like I said, that was a year that kid, He just wanted to destroy everybody, right? Kid broke his arm, but it was a tight game, and the coaches had to go out there and drag him out because he didn't want him to get out of the field with a
Right.
broken arm. It's like, no, guys, go get me the bat. Remember we used to wear those protectors right here.
Right.
That would go from here to here. Go get me one of those, coach.
Get him back in.
No, but that was a championship team too.
Yeah.
That those guys.
Yeah, there were several really good teams. So, Coach, there's a question. Ralph has a question for you on the chat there. He says, "What was the most successful play that scored at least 75% of the time? Was it the wall on kickoff return?" Because we worked on that wall a lot.
Yeah. That was big. Thursdays, wasn't it Thursdays that we did those practices, special teams, or Fridays?
Friday would be in shorts and helmets. If we had a good practice that week, we'd be in shorts and helmets on Friday.
Right. Yeah, we always practiced special teams. We always made our extra points. We never kicked field goals, but we always made our extra points.
I mean, but that wall would go down for 30 yards, man. Just running down the sidelines, just protecting. Don't even come near them. It was
we would set them up, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was no, we I did a lot of when I started coaching. I always go into my memory banks, What Coach Cotton say? What Coach Hearn say? Coach O'Connor, Coach Gare, Coach Holland in high school, Coach McGee, Coach Martinez. I mean, that's everything that I put into coaching. I got it out of you guys, man. And I just
I coached 1 year in Puerto Rico, and the same thing. Everything I did was based on what I learned on the Rams.
Absolutely, even in the middle of a game, they're doing something. I'm like, all right, what do I do to stop that? What would if it's on defense? What Coach Hearn would have done? How would you adjust to that? All right, let's try it. Okay, yeah, hey guy, hey swing, and all of a sudden there you go. I mean, it was cool, man. It was you guys gave us a lot there, a lot of good stuff here. But so listen, it's we've been on for 30 minutes, and like we said the other night, Coach, if we wanted to talk football, we could talk for hours, and we will. Just not all at one time, right? So, again, we're going to be doing this each Friday. I want to talk more Rams football, get some more people on. We had a bunch of people on the chat. Thanks, you guys, for throwing some chats in there. Stay tuned. Next week, I want to pick up some more Rams talk as well. Coach, if you can make it, we'd love to have you back on. And I want to start talking about your strategies, what you did, how you prepared for games and all that stuff, and how you ran the offense and ran the team and everything. Kind of just get into your head, because now we can kind of understand it. We're not kids anymore that are, watch out. Don't piss off Coach Cotton, man, So, but anyway, Coach, listen, thank you so much for joining us. And again, looking forward to many more of these. Ricky, same thing for you, man. Appreciate having you on. Feel free to join us again next week. You and I have been talking about doing a couple other things as well, but I'd love to have you on, and hell, just even co-host some of this stuff if you want, man, and give us your perspectives. But listen, guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. It was great talking Ram stuff, guys in the chat. Thank you so much. We've got some people on standby. I think we're going to be talking. Actually, tell you what, I'm still waiting on some people for some reunion talk, and they're not on quite yet, so we can probably go a few more minutes if you guys want to hang out. Otherwise I can transition to other things, but I've got let me make sure that these guys have the right invite in case bear with me just a second. All right, if they're listening, I just put it in that chat there. Hopefully they'll join on from there. But so Coach, let me ask you, what was your mindset when you'd get ready for like a Kiwanis game? How did that all start? Did you prepare practice that week differently? Was everything always going to be the same? How did you guys figure all that stuff out?
Well, we knew the Kiwanis had a couple of plays. One of them was quarterback could get the ball, he'd immediately turn around and fake a handoff to the running back, and give the ball to the other running back.
Okay.
And we practiced defense against that. and every time they ran it, they made yards. No matter what, they made yards.
Was it a trap play? They did
And
a
it was
trap?
just something we could.
Does he live up in the beach in Panama?
Yeah.
Beg
Okay.
pardon?
Starlink.
No, he's asking
I'm
where,
in the
where in
Balkan.
Panama you're at. Yeah, in Balkan.
Balkan. Oh, right on. Damn,
Yeah,
that's beautiful up there.
I guess, going back to that play, at the end of the day, preparation is great, but execution, right? And I guess they knew how to execute that play well. If they run it so much, they probably could run that play in their sleep.
Yeah, they were fast. That's what it was. They were just really fast. They had fast running backs.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were fast.
Yeah. And I mean, it was definitely a misdirection play, and it was. No, you're absolutely right. And at the end of the day, we prepared for Kiwanis for a couple of weeks before that game. Even though we never wanted to say that we looked ahead, but for the most part, it really usually came down to that game, one way or the other. And they're doing the same thing. And oftentimes, I just my opinion, but I think certainly when I was playing, Albrook didn't have strong teams. Howard had one strong team.
Oh,
but
they were good when I played.
But other than that, they weren't that strong, and so Kiwanis always were going to be the one from that side to be playing in the championship.
Yeah.
So
well, when there was a lot of kids, they were good. Albrook, like in '73, Albrook won. I think 2 divisions. The Pee-wees they won.
Well, last year when we had Ray Maston on, he mentioned that 73 team, I think it was the first time a non-Rams team won the championship.
Yeah, those guys they had this guy named Robert Coleman, who was like, Paul Williams can talk about this more, but the way he tells the story was somehow he got on the team, but he weighed about 30 pounds more than the given weight, so nobody could tackle him. Because I think Pee-wees didn't have a weight limit. I think that's what it was. I don't think Pee-wees had a weight limit. And then Robert Coleman was just this huge kid that just nobody could tackle him.
Right.
Yeah. But they did. Albrook always had good players. I mean, Albrook was good up until about 78.
Yeah.
And then Howard was also good. I mean, both those
Howard was a big
Clayton
base.
was also
Howard
good.
had a lot of people to pick from. You think about it. Howard was a very large base.
Yeah. Clayton won one year. Clayton's heavyweights won about 75. I think it was the Clayton heavyweights that won.
They had a lightweight team. My second year, their lightweight team. That's when Eddie Short came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden we're like, who the hell was this guy, man? Just boom, gone. That was and as you guys can attest that, Coach, this is the infamous Lime game. Remember?
Yeah, everybody remembers that game.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was brutal.
Big. I think you guys did. We lose that game.
We lost that game. We
Yeah,
absolutely
I remember
lost
that
that game. That was, it was raining
That's
like nobody's business.
That's the year the Cowboys won the championship, lightweight
Correct.
or
Yes.
middleweight.
No, it was lightweights. And that was the year that Eddie Short came out of nowhere, and he just, we could not stop him. He was so fast. And Eddie Short was pretty good size. He wasn't like skinny. He was good size, but he was fast, man. And it was, it was raining the whole time. And I remember we'd be in the huddle and we're like, God, these red ants, man. You think you're getting burnt by these red ants and bit. It was lime. The morons on Fort Clayton lined the field. Instead of chalk, they used lime. And it's on our skin. It's burning the hell out of us. Poor Tony DeLuca, God rest his soul. He got it so bad up his ass crack. He had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right. So that was. So you were in heavyweights the year I coached lightweights.
Correct. Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that was because, like I said, we were like, we just assumed they were ants. Because it was a burning, but an itchy burning. Because you're in the middle of a game, you got adrenaline running. There's water and mud everywhere going on, and we didn't realize it till afterwards. That, oh my God, you look and that was like no red ant bites I'd ever seen before. It was swollen, but it was like the skin was peeled. It wasn't no red ant. It was, and then we find out. Remember, we went to practice Monday. Didn't they have a nurse at the practice to look at some of the kids?
Yeah.
I believe so.
It sounds like the 49ers after losing the Super Bowl, man. We couldn't handle a loss to the Cowboys.
And the thing about it, what's scary is, you look at it in hindsight now, but what if that got in somebody's eyes, man? That would have been a mess.
That would have been a mess. Yeah. Wasn't Ralphie the quarterback for your team, Willie?
No, that year, I think it was.
Oh, Malia, Steve Malia.
It was either Malia or Billy Thrift.
No, it was Malia. I remember Malia because it was you. I remember Tony Malia. You guys were all the Maliantes that hung out with me.
Yeah.
You guys were my little brother that I would go to the causeway with me and stuff.
Yeah. That's when you drove the gray Fiat.
Yeah. And then Malia was their quarterback. Malia. Who else was in that little group? But yeah, you guys were Maliantes, man.
Yeah, I think Billy Thrift was quarterback for a bit, and then in fact the irony of it was that Malia tackled him in practice one day and broke his arm.
Oh, is that what it was? I think actually Malia even
I broke his arm in the game.
I thought it was in practice, and it was Steve Malia that tackled him, and it was like an unnecessary tackle, and it's like, damn, and now he broke his arm. But I do remember Billy was our quarterback there for a bit.
Yeah, wearing jerseys for Friday at school. That was nothing like it, man. There was absolutely. That, especially in Corundu, man, when we all wore our colors. And sometimes, we would get into fights and pushing and shoving in the hallways. Yeah,
for sure.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks for bringing that up, because that's true. Fridays, wearing those shirts. But in Corundu, because Balboa, I don't know that we really wore our Little League jerseys. We might have, but I don't remember. I know in Corundu we did.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because in Balboa, it was if you were on heavyweights in 10th grade, you still played heavyweights. Yeah. And dude, you're not cool if you got a bunch of high schoolers that play high school ball and you're in
right. That's
you're
what
like,
it was.
no, you're a tough guy at practice.
Quiet about it. Yeah.
In school, you're like, wow, there's no
you're not going to be roughing up other guys.
Yeah, you got a Rams jersey. As proud as you are wearing a Rams jersey, this guy wearing a Bulldogs or a Red Machine jersey, you're like, eh.
Yeah, you're right. But in Corundu, it was huge.
Yes. For sure.
You had to wear your jersey.
Heck yeah. Yep. And the cool thing about Corundu was it was the only junior high for the whole Pacific side. Yeah. So in the hallways, you saw Albrook Jets jerseys on Friday. Howard Eagles.
Everybody.
The only one you didn't see was Cristobal.
Yeah. And everybody, was on little
there was
groups,
Panamanians that went to school in the zone. So you had all the teams' jerseys except Cristobal on Fridays in Corundu. Yeah, that was cool, man. Yeah.
And all the trader girlfriends from our town dating guys from Clayton and stuff like that. Even that was big.
Well, and then when they got into heavyweights,
go back and forth.
When they got into heavyweights, some of them got were allowed to go to the Atlantic side because it was a train ride. Which that's a whole nother interesting story. I was talking recently to some people, nothing to do with football or Rams for the girls or anything, but talking to Fran Hearn one time, and she was saying when she was growing up and in high school and stuff, they'd go out on Friday nights, but they had to hurry and catch the 11 o'clock train to Gamboa because that was the only way to get home. And I'm thinking, wow, I never fathomed taking a train, as a kid anywhere.
Yeah.
Except on Rams, of course. But other than that, I would never jump on a train.
Yeah, the Gamboa kids played for Albrook, and then they got switched over to Clayton.
Clayton, yes.
Oh, no. They were always Clayton. Yeah. They were always. No, because Mike Sides and Corby Fearon, those guys all played for Albrook. Whitlock, they play for Albrook. But the Fays did play for Clayton. So I don't know how that was broken up.
Yeah, well, and then at one point, at what point did the Paraiso Bengals start, Coach? And then when did they end? Do you remember?
They started after 81.
Okay. It was very brief, though.
And I don't know when. Huh?
I played against them, Coach. I played against them. They started in, and I don't mean to correct you, Coach, but they did play the year I played lightweights and middleweight. So they played like 74, 75, 76.
Okay. I know it was a very brief stint.
No, they
Maybe
didn't.
77
No, they
too.
didn't.
No? I know I played against him in lightweights, but not in heavyweights. Lightweights and middleweights, I definitely played against him.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
They only
apologize.
lasted a year, maybe 2 years, and then they
Yeah, it was very brief. I
disbanded.
do know that.
Yeah, it was like 2 years, something like that. And then they all came over to Balboa. Well, not all of them, but all the good ones did.
Right.
We got a whole bunch of them that, like the year I played heavyweights, we got their quarterback, and him and Mark Myers platoon.
Well, remember we had well, not we, because I didn't play that year. It was still young. Was Sparty Jordan was on our team, and then he went and played for Clayton.
He went to Clayton. Yeah, they went to Clayton to try to beat us.
Yeah, I remember that was odd.
Sparty was a very good football player.
Yes, he sure was, man. Elusive, man. That guy could run and was a long stride.
Power. He had powerful legs.
You know who used to run like him was Sandor Liptai.
Oh my God, he played with me. Yes.
And I mean, it seems like every one of his steps was 5 yards, man. 3 steps and it was a first down.
Yeah, Sandor was really, really good. He was our tight end.
Yes, he had the form. His running form was great, man.
He ran like Eric Dickerson, straight up.
Straight up. But it was steady, man. And even track was like that, man. It was long stride gone, man.
And that was the only guy that would give Raul Haynes a run for his money. Yes. The only guy.
Yep. That was good stuff. So, Coach, did Coach Dare and those guys also run the wishbone? Was that already part of the Rams before you guys got in?
Yes. We lost Coach.
Okay. Now he's back. On the wishbone, Coach, was that? I mean, I guess that was 60s and 70s. That was a preeminent offense anyway out in football. Was wishbone.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, they got it from Texas.
Right. Okay. Yep. And Alabama ran it too. Bear Bryant. All these guys ran it.
You know what? Because it was easy to teach. It was easy for us to learn.
Yeah.
Like 24 dive, 2 back, 4 hole. 35, 36. It was like that. It was the first number was the back. The quarterback was 1, fullback 2, right 3, left 4, right, or something like that.
Yeah, the 3 was left. Odd was left. Even was right.
You're right. You're right.
Yep.
So 42, 4 back, 2 hole. Be like that.
Yeah, we did that. In fact, somebody just threw one out there. Look at Ralph throwing out there. 3 plays up the middle. Pre-call 24. That's the fullback. Yep. Pre-call 31. Pre-call 23. Yep. Pre-call 32.
And then we would do dives. We would do counters. We would do what else? I already forgot all the name of our plays, but we definitely did counters.
We did the power, the 36 power and the 45 power, which was great because you had a tailback, a fullback, a tailback, and then the guy, the ball carrier, all hitting right outside of that tackle, in between the tackle and tight end. You got yards on that one. If you needed 3 or 4 yards, that one did it. That one for sure did it.
Yeah, and then the best play that I remember that we actually beat Kiwanis 14-7 on a 4th down play. We ran the fake 31. I don't remember the terminology. It was fake 31 counter, reverse tight end.
Right.
And Sandor Liptai ran that and scored, and we beat Kiwanis 4th down, seconds left, just like the Super Bowl. Just like the way that game ended. Same exact thing. If we didn't score, it would have been a tied game. And I don't think back then we had overtime.
Okay.
And we ran that fake counter, tight end reverse that, I don't know, Gare was our coach then.
Right,
and we scored on that play. And it was beautifully executed. I mean, it was that I don't until today I won't forget that play.
Right.
Yeah.
38. Well, here's another one. 38 quick pitch. Yeah, 38 quick pitch was, I did that. My son played quarterback when I coached him, and I worked on that a lot. That whole pivot and pitch, man. Turn that foot, and lead them. And that running back should be at full speed, and that ball should hit him right here every time. And you work on it, you drill them and drill them and drill them, man. That's what we did. So, all right. Well, listen, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up because Rebecca is getting ready to join us. We're going to talk some Canal Zone reunion. Next week, we'll go ahead and we'll talk circus drills. We're going to talk some story circus drills. I know John Soto's on. Thank you, John, for joining us. Good seeing you. John has a story that a lot of us know, his famous ant story in circus drills, but we're going to save that for next week. So, John, if you don't mind, we're going to share that and enjoy some good memories on that. But anyhow, listen, guys, again, as I said earlier, thank you so much. I really, really enjoy doing this. I want to keep doing this. I want to keep bringing back these memories and keeping Canal Zone alive, and certainly keeping the Balboa Rams alive. As you can see, we got a lot of followers here. This will be re-aired, so anybody that missed out can watch it during the week, and then hopefully they'll join us on Friday. But again, guys, thank you so much. Have a great evening, great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Coach,
Thanks,
good to
Coach.
see you.
Thank you, Ricky.
All
Appreciate
right,
you guys.
Right on,
care.
Billy. Thanks, guys.
All right. Here we go. All right, guys. So, again, a lot of fun there, guys. A lot of cool memories. I know we had some connectivity issues there, but still, it was really cool to hear from Coach Cotton. You know, that's somebody that was a big influence on my life. Balboa Rams, a big influence on my life as well. It's something that I cherish a lot. You know, that picture right here on my shirt. You know, it was so cool to look at that stadium and see all those parents there and see those stands full to go watch our Rams games. So again, next week, guys on the Rams channel and the Rams page. Bring your stories, bring some good laughs and some good memories for us, and we'll hopefully get you guys on the air. But thanks again, guys, for joining us with some Rams talk. We're gonna go ahead and switch gears now. We're gonna talk about this previous reunion. We just had a reunion in the zone in Panama. It was a really good time. Alex is gonna hopefully join us here in just a bit. In the meantime, Rebecca Grimison is joining us from here in the States. She was part of that class of '84 that put together a really cool reunion for us. So Rebecca, welcome, and glad you could join us here on our happy hour at the Yacht Club.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Right on. So good time in Panama this past January. You guys had a really good turnout,
So
class
much
of
fun.
'84.
We did, but before we even get to '84, Alex Reyes, Alan Deacle, Eddie Dolan, Andrew Eftimitis, Pablo Prieto. I know there's people I'm leaving out, but they did an amazing job on I think it was the third Canal Zone reunion in Panama. It was amazing.
Right on. We'll have to have them join us one of these days so we can thank them and obviously talk about what they've got in the works for this year coming up, because it's never too early to start the next one, right? And I think they mentioned Alex mentioned, yeah, he said that somebody from the class of '85 has already reached out to them to get that going. So anybody class of '85, you guys are in the works there. Make sure you start making your plans now. Don't wait. It seemed like it was a really good time. There was a lot of cool stuff out there to see. I do have some video just to show you guys again of what went down, but let's take a look at some of the video there and reminisce a little bit. That's Menudo, good old Menudo.
Menudo, yeah. We had our own version.
Of course, everybody's got to know this song, right?
Yeah, this is our last night. The first one was our first night. This is our last night.
Oh, okay, right
At
on.
the Union
And it's
Club.
funny, I had them in the wrong order, but I ended up playing them backwards, and it worked perfect then. Good.
It was in the right
on.
order, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Right on. Good stuff. So now,
So much fun.
so class of '84, how many people did you guys, first of all, how many people are in your graduating class? You remember?
It's 300, probably a little over 300. I don't have an exact
Okay.
number.
And how many did you
But
guys
we
have
had
in Panama?
77 classmates, and then with spouses or guests, our total number was 110.
Right on. Well done, class of
Yeah, it was a big
84.
turnout. Yeah,
Heck
yeah.
yeah. Good commitment.
And you
So
could
class
see
of
from the
86, we
first
got 2
night,
years. We got to beat that, huh? Just saying.
because we did think that we are the largest high school reunion that has gone back so far. That's not verified, but
Okay.
77 classmates.
Yeah,
So
I would put my money on that. That seemed like a good turnout, A lot
yeah,
of cool stuff. So you guys started your reunion was the Sunday, right?
yeah,
Technically, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Alex's grand finale was Saturday night. Then Sunday we started ours. We had a cocktail party or a happy hour at a place called Sabroso that's on the causeway.
Right.
And you can see the moment the music started playing, the class was on their feet and
Right.
and we didn't stop. But the location was perfect. I mean, it was out on the causeway, but the interior of that restaurant is done in the provinces of Panama. So you feel like you're going up
Oh,
through
right
the
on.
jungle, and yeah, and inside
Sure.
there's the front of a bus, and that's where the DJ booth was. But they
Right.
they served us like a little plate of typical food, appetizers.
Okay.
Then the music started. Everybody got some drink tickets. I think we hit the magic number of drink tickets because you could see that's it right there. Everybody was on their feet from the moment the music started playing.
And
So
that
it
was
was supposed to be a couple of hours. We didn't leave till 10 o'clock at night.
yeah, and who we kidding? We knew that was gonna be the case.
Yeah.
You're not gonna miss out on that. Forget about it. You're on the
Yeah.
causeway, it's late at night. Come on. I mean, that's back 30, 40 years ago, you weren't on that causeway at night, but you were making sure you
No.
show up there at 5 or 6 in the morning, right? On
Right.
graduation.
That's right. That's right.
Right on.
But
So now
super fun.
and then Monday, what was your activities on Monday?
So Monday we ended up going over to Playa Bonita. One of our classmates, Yvonne Lure, works for the owners of Playa Bonita, and
Not
she set us up with a day basically at the beach.
right on.
It's the former Kobe Beach is where Playa Bonita is.
Hmm.
So
So
a
it was right
short ride
across the
over the
bridge then.
bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
just a short ride over the bridge. We contracted with the double-decker buses. They have double-decker tour buses now in Panama.
Yeah.
And so we contracted with them, and they showed up and they took everybody in the double-decker buses over the bridge over to
Yeah, I
Playa
saw some
Bonita.
pictures of that, and let me tell you that bridge scared the hell out of me when I was living down there as a kid, and I hate bridges, and it didn't help, unfortunately, not to go on a sad note, but my dad was a cop down there, and there was a time when an army truck went off the bridge, on the West Bank, and my dad
Yeah.
photographed that. And unfortunately, I was rooting around through shit one day, and I came across those pictures, man, and that just scarred me, man.
Awful.
Ever since then, I just, the last time I was in Panama,
Yeah.
we went over the bridge for something, and the whole time I'm like, just tell me when we're on the other side. I don't even want to look. It terrifies me. So the thought of a double-decker bus up there, forget about it,
I
man.
know. Well, you
I'll try
got a
to
good
report.
view.
Yeah,
There
I'm
were some
sure.
good pictures, but yeah, it was a little, it wasn't. It was totally safe, but yes,
Right
for all the
on, right on.
reasons
Well,
you
it's
just
pretty
mentioned, it was a little scary, maybe a little apprehension.
Yeah, and at some point you start thinking, well, this bridge is kind of old now, man. Okay.
Yeah.
But so Yvonne, that's interesting, and maybe that might be something for class of 85, and then maybe class of 86 in 2 years to
Yes.
maybe look at doing something there. Right
Honestly,
on.
Yvonne rescued us a couple times because for both Sunday and Monday, we had different things to start. But the things that
Okay,
we ended up with were her suggestion, and it was perfect. The owner
good.
of this place, Sabroso, a woman named Daniela, she
Right.
was so wonderful to work with. And they played all 80s music there for
Yeah,
us. They knew exactly who we were, and it was a lot of
that's so
fun.
cool. That is so cool.
Mhm.
Cool. All right.
Mhm.
Well, class of 85, keep that in mind then, mental note that, be on the lookout for that. Hold on. There's some stuff here. Okay. Just looking at some text here. Most of them are still some football stuff there, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got some trickling class of 84 stuff. Okay. So now two things that are of real interest to me, and certainly I'm hoping that when we do ours in 86 and even if next year for 85, because I definitely want to go and be there anyway for that, because it just seems really fun. But
Yeah.
the train ride, what was that like?
That was really cool. I wasn't sure what it was going to be like because you don't get off the train. You just
Right?
go over and
Yeah.
then you come back. But that train is it's really neat on the inside, tables that you can sit at and talk, and then if you go out the doors, there's these like kind of observation decks. So you can kind of be
Yeah.
outside the whole time, watching the canal, and everybody's
Yeah.
pointing out, oh, here comes where we paddled the Cayuga, and
Right.
this is where we used to, Pipeline Road. Here comes Pipeline Road. It was
That's
very cool.
awesome. That is
Yeah.
so cool. And so you get to the Atlantic side, and then how long are you there? It just turns around and go right back.
It just, yeah, just goes back you just kind of, the other part of the train is now the
The engine
locomotive.
unhooks and goes to the front and switches, and then they go.
I don't know if they even did that. I don't
Really?
know if they did that. I
Okay.
feel like we
Interesting.
just started going the other way, but I wasn't paying attention. So maybe
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that still sounds
Um,
like a cool ride, though.
It was neat. That was one of the things at the CZ reunion that Alex and company came up with. It was a very neat
Yeah.
addition. Hmm.
Yeah. No. When he said it, I thought that would be cool. And then you even mentioned it. Like you said now. You said, well, I wasn't sure how it would be because it's like, well, it's just a train ride, but
Yeah.
it still was. Especially for any of us that are just from the previous segment with Rams. That was always the
Yeah.
experience of being on the train and riding over there and stuff.
Right. Right. Right.
And I mean, you
Yeah.
really are. It's the first transcontinental railroad. So
Yeah.
it really is a famous railroad. And
Yeah. It was fun. It was worth doing. And if they weren't doing it for the CZ reunion, it would be a fun thing for a class reunion to do for sure.
right on. Even
If
just
your
somebody
whole
want to go
class.
and visit and take your family to Panama
Oh yeah.
because it's what, hour and a half. How long is it?
No, we got on the train at 8. We probably left a little bit later, and then we got back a little before 11, like between 10:30
Oh,
and
okay.
11. So a
Okay.
couple hours.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it goes slow enough that you can sightsee.
Yeah, you can enjoy it. Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Balboa High School. What was that like?
So cool. So the neatest thing is the library has been preserved to its how it was originally, including all
Right
the
on.
books. And
That's
they
awesome.
even have yearbooks from years past. So a bunch of us looked up our parents. Like we found my dad, and
Oh, very
Alan
cool.
Deacle found his dad. Eddie Dolan found his parents. But the whoever's in charge, I don't remember his name now, but he thanked us for coming. He said we were the first class
Right
that
on.
came to visit, and they
Way
were
to
really
go,
happy that
84.
we came.
I'll
Yeah.
bet.
And so
Well, especially if they've
the
gone
whole
through the trouble of
hallway.
preserving it.
Say it again.
I said, no, especially since he's gone through the trouble of preserving it and everything. And,
Preserving it.
and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
who appreciates it more than Zonians that actually experienced it
That's
and
right.
did that and actually read those books,
And so two cool things, the hallway in front of the library now, there's all kinds of Canal Zone memorabilia in that hallway. It was really neat.
Okay.
Pictures of governors, maps of the Canal Zone, neat things.
Okay.
Oh, even the thing to make the seal. I think the machine that made the seal of the Canal
Right.
Zone. Yeah, neat things like
Wow.
that.
Wow.
And then they let us in the library. They let us go out the front into that like a deck. If you remember, right out from the library, it was kind of like a deck, but we were never
Yeah.
allowed out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but we went out there, and that was kind of
I
neat.
saw that. And I was like, man, I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever been out there.
So that was
That's
really
so
neat
cool.
to do.
And
And then
did you get to see the rest of the school? Did like the other buildings and stuff, or?
yeah, they took us through They took us through the front, back through the science buildings, across to the gym, out to the stadium, back through, I forget what the hallways were called now, but over where you went down to the cafeteria. We did not go down to the cafeteria. They said it's still a cafeteria, but it wasn't somewhere we would want to go.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I mean,
I
that
don't know
was
what
always
that.
kind of weird. It was down in a basement anyway, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that was kind of bizarre. But I think
yeah.
it's probably
I
the only,
mean,
only place in the entire zone that had a basement, I think. But
I was just going to
um,
say that the only basement in the Canal Zone.
right, right. You know, and that was our lunch. But no, that's awesome. Yeah, that to me, when I heard that you guys were going to go to the Balboa High School, I was like, wow, that would be so amazing. And then I thought, but is it just going to be, you know, a building they've taken over and done other things with it? You know, obviously the lockers are gone, but you know,
The
I
lockers
mean,
are gone, but the buildings are still being used as training for the Panama Canal Authority.
okay,
So
so it's
they do
still a
training
school in
in
there.
there, I think. Yeah, pretty much. And they
Right on.
testing for people that are going to apply for jobs there. So
Ah,
yeah, it's still
okay.
being used kind of in the same capacity. The
So
bathrooms
like
were
a
the same. Like they haven't done
right.
anything to. It smelled
That's
like
funny.
the high school. It definitely smelled like the high school.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's great,
Yeah.
man. No, that was really cool. And then of course the iconic graduation picture, you know, on the admin steps,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, and
And
what was
and
amazing
Christine
about
finally
that
got to be
was
in the picture.
she got in the picture, and if you look down in the corner of that picture, Jillian Collins is holding open the yearbook with the original picture, which is kind of neat. If you look at her
Okay.
down
Let's
over,
go.
she's in the green and she's holding the yearbook open.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, on the lower left,
Yeah,
lower right, I guess if you're looking at the
yeah,
screen on the color picture
yeah,
there, right on. Look at
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect. That's
So yeah,
awesome.
you
Did
can see.
anybody grab cardboard and go down the hill?
Oh my God, you didn't see the video? It was my brother, Patrick Grimison.
Really? No, I got to see that video.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Ah, very good.
John McGee posted it, and
Okay, I'm gonna
also
have to go on to his page and look at it. That's
Deidre
hilarious.
Murphy went down first, but she did a short one. Patrick did a long one, and it was fast
That
and
was it.
scary.
I'll bet. Well,
And he
the thing I
bled
used
a
to hate
little bit
about
at
that
the
was
end.
we used to whenever you'd hit a rock, man, it's like, oh damn, that would hurt like hell. So the whole time you're going down, you're hauling ass, but you're like, oh, just please no rocks, you know. And because
Oh my
at least,
gosh.
you know, in the dry seasons when you'd have all those rocks, but that's when you go fast, man, because that was all dry and the ground was hard. It
Oh
was
yeah.
that was so cool. So cool.
Yeah. He went
No, good.
fast, and he was bleeding at the end of it, so means
now
he had fun.
is now what about the elementary school across the street? What is that place like now? Do y'all? I
You
mean,
know,
obviously,
there.
I'm sure they didn't tour it, but
No, we didn't go in there, and they use it for something. Like maybe the Panama Canal Authority might be using it for something.
okay,
We did get permission though that day, last minute, that anybody who wanted to go into the administration building could go in, into the lobby there. And I did not go, but some people did go and check it
yeah,
out. So,
that was always such a cool building with the all the trees in the middle like that and everything.
hmm,
It was just such a
yeah,
even though I only went there for 3 years because then went to St. Mary's and all that, but still that
right,
was always
right,
such a cool building and stuff.
yeah,
And then after that, you guys did. Was it the Union Club? Was that your reunion
yeah.
dinner? Okay, how
Yep, our
was that?
reunion dinner at the Union Club. It was really neat. Um, I mean, just perfect. Again, the double-decker bus picked people up so that we didn't have to worry about traffic, because traffic can
Right,
be a nightmare in Panama.
I bet.
And I mean, we got there a little earlier than we thought, but again, our DJ was Trueños y Relámpagos, which they've been
Nice.
around since we were in high
Yes,
school.
absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
That's iconic.
yeah, so that was just same thing. The food was good. Um, the music was good, and you saw in the video, people were up dancing from the moment the music
Sure.
started and until they turned the lights on us and made us go home.
In typical Zonian partying fashion, man. Lights come on,
That's
time to go.
right.
late and gone home by the time
Exactly.
you get home. Very cool. So
Yeah.
now, if you have to give any advice to the class of '85 that are obviously are planning their reunion now, what would you suggest to
hmm
them?
I think they should do exactly what we did.
Of
and
course.
and it was perfect, but
And
also
she's
they
not
need
being
to start
braggadocious,
now.
guys. It's just they did a good job. That's
Yeah.
all.
It was just fun. But you have to start now, getting people's information, putting a framework together, because people need a year. They need a year to schedule it and decide to go, and um yeah,
And
start now.
obviously, you don't know
Start getting
what
people
what
to.
plane tickets are, but if somebody had to ballpark, what they should be ballparking as far as what they're going to be spending.
Well, listen, again, Alex and his crew got rooms at the Radisson Panama Canal. The rooms were $75 a night. So
Okay,
you can
wow,
stay very economically at the hotel.
heck yeah, man, and it's right there.
Yeah, hotel. I mean, the airplane tickets are like $300 to $500, depending on where you're coming from. The
It's
further away.
it's reasonable. I mean, to fly to Panama, I wouldn't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't think it was our reunion. I think people. I don't remember what we charged people, but it was a couple $100 um, for all the activities. Just a little over
Oh, okay,
$200.
and that then included everything, transportation
Yes.
if it was arranged or whatever, and all that. Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good
Well, it
then. So
included the dinner.
85. Think about that then. Offer them like a package deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then as far
Yeah.
as getting from the airport, did anybody have any hassles with that? Was it pretty easy to do? Did anybody do the metro? Did you hear if anybody did the metro from the airport?
I didn't hear if anyone did the metro. I think most people probably Ubered or rented a car. A lot of
Okay, cool.
Ubers, I think. A lot of
Right on.
people getting rides.
Cool. No,
Yeah.
and that
But it's
reminds
easy
me
to get
that
around.
yeah, no, for sure. And that also reminds me uh about this is something that obviously is available as well for you guys.
Oh, and
Um
yeah, Andrew's place. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew's place, and the boat. He's got those boats arranged. If you guys want to do any kind of a boat trip or whatever, but
hmm
that's right in the zone, guys. I mean, it's a really really cool place to stay. Um, you know, help help out our Zonians out there and help their businesses as we always want to try and do that. So, and there's a number on here,
hmm
WhatsApp. So if you guys want to reach out to them, and start planning that now. They obviously are limited in availability. So if you want to try and do this, book it now. Don't wait
Right.
until it runs
Right.
out. But
Definitely.
cool. So class of '85. Now you guys do it like '84 did. Otherwise, it's gonna suck. Okay,
I have
so
a
they know how
date.
to do it.
I have a date with Christy Goodwin to tell her details at the reunion in
Oh, there you
Orlando.
go.
So
Cool,
yeah.
cool. And let her know then if she wants to reach out. And we're on every Friday night now. If she wants to reach out and start getting the word out, she's
Okay.
more than welcome to join us.
Yeah,
So
and class of '84, we are having an informal gathering at the Orlando reunion, the Panama Canal Society reunion.
oh, very good, very good, very good.
But
And
information coming soon on that.
yeah, for sure. Let's, and keep in mind, like you and I had talked before, if we want to do some things with you guys, class of '84, leading up to June and graduation. There's a lot. I've been combing through like the spillway and all that stuff and looking at some old articles of things that were, what was going on in February or March of 1984. What music was
Right.
playing, what was on TV,
Right.
what music and movies were playing and all that stuff. It would be kind of cool to revisit, what BHS life was like in that time frame. Also,
Oh
keep
yeah.
in mind, guys, Cayuca race is coming up, right? Or was back then. I guess it is still on
It
now.
was,
But
yeah.
this was that time of the year that Cayuca race started gearing up. So I'd love to do
Yeah.
an episode and talk Cayuca race, and anybody that wants to join us and share their Cayuca memories. That's one place that I probably regret not doing it because I never did paddle in the Cayuca. My brother did, but I never paddled
Yeah.
in the race.
Yeah, it was
And
fun. It was fun to do.
I went at 5 in the morning, and that was no way I was doing that. But yeah,
Priorities.
I think I wish I had done it at least once. 'Cause that's kind
So
of
I
a
guess
cool
we
thing.
lost Alex, huh? Alex never showed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently he had some wedding gig or something going on, and
Oh,
so
okay. Okay.
um But yeah, I was
All
hoping to
right.
have him on and talk about next year's reunion, all that. But listen, thank you again for joining us and sharing. Really had looked like it was a really good time. It's got us
It was
fired
a
up for
lot of
the
fun.
86 reunion, and I think the 85 people are definitely geared up for it as well. So
I highly
you know,
recommend it. It was a really fun thing to do.
right on, right on. So keep that in mind, guys. 85 people. Christy Goodwin is who you want to reach out to if you want to start helping out with that or volunteering, and volunteer to do that, guys. And again, going back to what I said earlier at the beginning of the show, the Panama Canal Society does a lot to put on some good events for us. They're helping keep the whole Canal Zone story going. But membership, obviously, the people that are really active in that, a lot of them are getting on in years, and a lot of them have passed on. And we need some fresh blood, right? If we can arrange 70 something people to go to Panama to party and have a reunion, let's get people involved in the society here in the United States as well. Get your membership up to date. Go to the reunion in Orlando in July. Help keep that one going as well, and have some fun. And then join us here every Friday. We can talk about different things in the zone, different memories. Let's again, the next few ones, let's talk about Cayuca race. Baseball season was starting. Fast Switch Baseball. I got a Brian Laverty story I want to talk about if I can get a hold of him, which is kind of a funny one. But anyhow, again, guys, thank you so much. We went a little bit long tonight, but it was a lot of fun. Rebecca, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate having you out here.
Thanks for having me on, Willie. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too. Take care. Zonians, take care, everybody. Have a good time, and we will see you guys next week. Take care, everybody. See you guys.